It's been a long ride from Armadillo to St. Denis. You've been tracking Smitty Bacall and the Smitty Bacall gang. You lost some dear friends along that journey and did some things you won't ever speak of. Ultimately, with all odds against you, through faith, you persevered. You haven't showered in weeks, and the ordinary day-to-day pleasantries have faded away. Just as you arrived at the marshal's office to claim your hard-earned prize, an affluent local businessman comments on your abhorrent state. You stop. Reach for your pistol, but pause. No, that would be far too easy. You need to make an example out of him with your bare hands. You throw the first haymaker, expecting it to finish the fight before it had even started. He quickly parried, leaving you in shock. This was no regular businessman. He had trained in the ancient art of Krav Maga. You know you had made a critical error, and he beats you to a pulp. He disfigures your face and leaves you inches from death. The only reason he left you alive was so you could share the shame of your defeat with the world that had been carved into your face. I've seen this play out time and time again, and enough is enough. So put those dusty training shoes on and get ready to hit the pavement as I show you the easiest way to win every fistfight in Red Dead Online. What's going on, guys? In today's video, we will be going over the best fighting techniques in Red Dead Online and the best ability cards you should have when sparring with your mates. There are 3 basic moves for fist fighting in Red Dead Online: attacking, blocking, and grabbing. From those 3 moves, there are many variations to each, and I will explain. While you are actively blocking, your character's stamina will drain, so it is best to only actively block when your opponent is preparing to or actively striking you. You can also parry left or right by holding the block button and moving your joystick left or right. After your opponent has swung, you can quickly counter with 1 or 2 jabs, after which quickly going back into defensive posture. When it comes to attacking in fistfights, patience is vital. Don't wear yourself out by wasting punches when your opponent is in the defensive. If your opponent is in the defensive posture, you can grab them and break their block. After you grab them, spam the attack button, and typically you can get a string of good hits in before their character regains their stance. I only recommend you strike 3 times in a row before returning to the defensive stance. Typically, they will interrupt your string of attacks midway through a punch and let loose their own value, so don't get too greedy. Grappling and choking, from what I have seen, only occur in PvP, and it is key to not allow your opponent to start choking you, or else the fight will end. When coming up on a player, sprint at them while hitting the attack button. This will allow you to tackle the player, after which you can immediately choke them out and win the fight. The way to counter a player from doing this to you is by also sprinting at them and pressing the attack button, at which point both players will lock up, not allowing either of you to choke each other. Simply keep attacking and blocking until an opportune moment comes to choke them. I prefer to do this after the enemy player has attempted to punch me a few times. Once you have hit the hold button, simply keep holding it and your character will immediately start choking out your opponent. If an enemy player has tackled you down, there is a small window where you will be able to strike them away and disrupt their choke on you. Once you have disrupted the other player's choke, they will have no stamina left, which will give you a good advantage throughout the rest of the fight. When it comes to ability cards, typically I don't ever change mine, especially for fighting. However, if you want to maximize your class for fighting, make sure to equip Short Game, which will significantly increase your damage at close range, Peak Conditioning, which will also increase your damage in relation to your stamina level. The most important, in my opinion, is a moment to recuperate, which will significantly raise your health while Deadeye is active and comes in very clutch mid-fight. Just keep in mind that it will cancel out whenever you take damage. For extra tips, I only have a few. The first of which is your bow is actually one of the most OP melee weapons, and whenever you use it, your character will take out an arrow and stab your opponent in the neck. It's pretty cool. Whenever you are fist fighting near an object, your character will automatically finish them off with it. All you have to do is grab your opponent and strike. The third and final tip I have is to head to the settings and change the tap to assist setting to hold. This will make choking out enemy players occur much quicker. In conclusion, fist fighting in Red Dead Online is a pretty fun activity, and although it's not very functional during missions or PvP, there's a big rush you get from clearing out an entire saloon with your bare hands. Just make sure to play more defensively than offensively, and watch the enemy player's character more than your own. This will allow you to know when to block and strike. I can't believe that we have finally surpassed 5,000 followers, and it is always so interesting to see what you guys think in the comments. You guys are awesome. If you have any tips for melee combat, please do not hesitate to let me know in the comments. It's always interesting to see what you guys have to say. I am always taking video requests, so please let me know what you guys would like to see next. Anyway, take it easy, guys.